There's a story this morning. I almost threw it into the, random story from out of nowhere file. But there's so many stories in there. It's ridiculous, like 100. So I thought I'll just do this one because honestly, like for us, regular, average private citizens, you almost got to have a phone these days because even if you cars are now unlocked by phones. It's how you stay in contact with everyone. Your banking is on there. Where else am I going to play solitaire? Come on. Got so many things to do on your phone. Instagram and all the social medias. So for most people, they're indispensable. Even if you never play a game on there, there's still stuff that you need that's on your phone. You pay for things, GPS, it's all there. When someone doesn't have one, it does seem really odd. And, who can is people who have a staff.
Sure.
So they're, it's celebrities who don't use cell phones or smartphones because some of them do still use cell phones, but they'll use like a flip phone. But these are people who are like, I don't have time to answer my messages. I'm just far too busy being me the whole time.
Well, I get what you're saying there, but I do think there are people who just sort of find them like, I'll give you an example. They say, if you grab your phone first thing when you wake up, you don't even realize it. You're probably not looking for news. You're looking for dopamine. You're looking for that hit.
Yep.
Right away, you want that.
This person contacted me. I got 10 likes here.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is you're looking for, you're right about that, Ben.
And so I do think that there are people who recognize this and say to themselves, this isn't good for me.
Yep.
My personality. Not everybody. They're not taking a stance on everyone, but they're saying, I think this is a problem for me. I'm better off not. I give people credit who see that in themselves and say, I don't need to be chasing dopamine all day, every day. Like, You don't pick up your phone because you need to. And I admit, I do it all the time in here. In fact, sometimes my brain will wander. I'll pick up my phone and realize, you're on the air, dude. What are you doing?
Right. You're going to get sucked into something on your phone. It is true.
I open it and you've heard it. I open it and the volume spits out something and I'm like, oh my God, we're on. And I didn't even realize I'd done it.
Right.
Until the volume kicked in and went,
exactly.
You're caught, jerko.
You caught yourself.
So I get what you're saying, but I also get that there are people who, good for you that you recognize that it's not good for you and decided to pull off.
I think, too, that I feel like one of the crucial things on there is maps because nobody even knows how to give directions anymore to anything. So like if someone didn't have a phone in the car that had that, I would definitely be pulling mine out to do that. But every other thing, everything, that's the only thing I can think of that I can't really do on my computer. I just log in with my Apple ID on my Mac and when I get a text, unfortunately, the little indicator shows up right here on my computer. When my email drops, I've got a thing there. I can get to all of my websites. I can get to my banking, etc. Like you could easily live without a cell phone. You wouldn't be able to take pictures. You could get a camera, but just logging in. I'm sure it's the same thing with like a Samsung thing or isn't that a Google based thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just log in that way. You could do it. You could live without your phone, but most people are like, no, I wouldn't want to.
I think that it goes back to what I just said. If you can use it and it's useful.
Right. Use it responsibly.
You pay for things with it
Yep.
and you use it for maps and you stay in touch with your, husband, wife, kids, friends, pardon me, then that's great. But if you're that person who at 2 a.m. is still doom scrolling, you're the person who needs to get rid of that and go to a flip phone because you're killing yourself.
You're not doing yourself any favors. You're disrupting your sleep and you're just,
And that's exactly what that case across the east in Oakland is about against Meta, which is they've figured out ways to keep you on those sites.
To addict you.
And so if you're either a young brain, a young, not even fully formed brain, that's really negative for you. But even a person who's fully grown, who's sitting there at 2 a.m, Mason, our midday girl here at Alice, is an influencer. but she also admits she's fully addicted to her phone.
Mm.
She admits it, and I've seen it in action. She cannot not have it on and facing her and giving her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realize a lot of, like, she makes a living with it, though.
Right.
So what are you going to tell her?
Not, what can you tell her? That is a tool that she has to use in order to do this thing that she does. And I think that it's one thing to be completely addicted and doom scrolling, and another thing to now you need to do this or you can't pay your bills. Like, it's almost like a forced addiction.
I give her a lot of credit, though, because she hustles and she's out there doing all kinds of content all the time, all day, every day, and that's her job.
Yeah.
Also the radio, but also that.
Yeah. The paying thing is, yesterday I made twice baked potatoes last night.
You really did?
I did. I went and did it. But
it's an art.
You're so good at taking what we talk about on the air and putting it in your stomach.
I couldn't get it. Yes, I know, right? Put it in my mouth, baby.
That's what I was trying to tell you, though. Like, with the way I'd never seen it before. My uncle takes a baked potato and he just starts working on it there at the dinner table, and you're like, what is he doing? And it's an art to turn a baked potato into this masterpiece. And you did that. Twice baked, right?
Twice baked.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's not a regular baked potato with butter. Let me get that in my head.
Right. I did
multiple steps.
Yeah, broccoli and cauliflower, cheddar cheese.
It's killer.
Yeah.
And
anyway, so I'm walking to my Safeway is like, I don't know, it's like maybe a quarter-mile walk from my house. Okay. And I'm halfway there and I'm like, I turn around and walk back and get my phone so I can pay for the stuff. I was so mad, and then I'm like, how is it even possible that thing wasn't in my pocket? Like, it's always in my pocket. But no.
Well, you get home, you put it on the charger, you're trying to get away from it, but
you try.
I got you.
It was so annoying. So here are a couple celebrities who refuse to conform. They won't have a smartphone. Aziz Ansari says he uses a flip phone and a landline, and he doesn't have an email address either. He's got an assistant for that. So there you go. So you got somebody else handling your inbox. Most of us don't have that. I don't even think, like, would you even want someone to handle your inbox? What if you got a private message from, someone was going on with your aunt or something? Michael Cera, who's so adorable.
He's great.
He said, I just bought a camera. If I want to take photos, I've got a camera on me. And that is where I will do it. And then he just uses his computer to check emails and play chess.
As much as I think an artist can benefit from understanding what the average day of a regular person is like, which includes looking at Instagram and Facebook and what, he's an artist in a different way in that he's portraying characters that are pre-written for him.
Right.
And he doesn't need it as much as maybe a painter or a musician might.
And he's got, people that you would have to go through to get to him anyway.
And a musician even, I feel, can get, if there's too much direct contact and someone is telling you suck and that this new album's the worst thing, that you don't need that getting into your head. Like, you made your art. You did the best you could.
Yep.
If that person doesn't like it, they should just not listen to it. But they don't. They attack you.
Right. And you're better off not seeing that.
Exactly.
Do your art, put it out there, and then go on with your life.
Hopefully you sell tickets. And if you don't, all right. Didn't work out.
Yeah, and honestly, like, not looking at feedback it's a good way to just feel positive and go on. You don't need to. You didn't need to address that. You don't need to see it or hear it. Just do what you do and move away from it.
And to people's credit, every now and then there's that person who cuts through with the comment that hits you right between the eyes. You know the one.
I do.
The one that is so spot on, and you know it, and they know it, and you hear it, and you see it, and you go, ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
That's why I would not. I try to never look at our texts. I just don't want to know how bad I suck.
Everyone loves you.
Thank you. That's a nice thing to say.
No, it's true.
It is, though. There's even one listener in particular, on the Facebook page one time wrote something that really bummed me out. And like anytime I see anything from that listener, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of bummed out by it.
Their existence.
Yeah. You bummed me out once.
But that's the thing about the online communication is like we don't know these people. We don't know each other at all the way we used to know each other. And so you just feel free to say what you want to say. And if you're in a bad mood, that comes through and they're mean.
And the easiest thing to do is make a negative comment.
Yeah.
Like
Of course.
that's the easiest thing for a person to make themselves feel a little better for a second. Oh, I'm going to just be mean
Does
to this
it make
person.
you feel better just to be mean?
That's just online
It's like, I
culture,
got
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
Because I really, I could
It's
tell
gross.
you 10 times, any person, what sucks about them. You could do that.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not into that.
Right.
You do
Look
that?
for the good. I try not to.
You don't go online and go, I'm
Oh,
gonna
God,
roast
no.
this guy. Right. It's just weird.
I don't even care what people say online. I'm just like, who cares about that? It's like listening to some rando. No thanks.
To me, it's confusing though because when you are a musician, you are more successful if people listen to your stuff, and therefore they have to like it and they have to kind of buy into you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you don't want to. I mean, there are obviously haters out there who are just mean to be mean, but it's also like, you should take some feedback, right? Or no? Like, but
I
if you
don't-
only
No,
look at the
feedback
positives,
is-
that's also weird.
I don't disagree with you, but I do think that many artists, I've read all kinds of stuff all the way back from classic rock to the artists of today, and they will say, you have to make your record for you.
Mm-hmm.
As in, they make it for themselves. They make it the best they can make it, whether it's confessional or just pop art, and it's got no real connection to you other than you wrote it and you're
Yeah.
singing it. But whatever in between there, you've got to do it for you, put it out, and that's where it's up to the rest of the world to decide. If you're in the middle of, let's say, for example, you're in the studio writing a song and you start looking at your feed and you go, oh, they like it when I say stuff about my mom.
Or
I
whatever.
should-
Right.
Let me work that in.
Right.
Now you're writing for these comments in order to get, you're never going to get.
I also think when let's say you're Neil Young
Yeah.
and you're writing one of your terrible, terrible albums.
I like him.
And I know. And actually, I like some of his songs too. But in general, I feel like he's polarizing, and I definitely know people who don't like him, and I know people who really love him. He doesn't need to know that, and he never did need to know it. And he put his art out into the world, and he toured it, and he sold or didn't sell records to people. But people weren't stopping him on the street going, "You suck." They just, when we're face to face with people, we're not like that. I feel like there's this layer that gets peeled off and just kind of like reveals the ugly. And I think that that's one of the downsides of all online communication and social media. And also people can really take what you say out of context because there's no inflection in it. Like, have you ever tried to joke with somebody via text and they're like butt sore over it?
Yes.
And you're like, that was totally a joke. I don't want to have to write JK after everything I write to somebody.
Is there a sarcasm font?
Right.
There
That's what
needs to
LOL's
be.
for.
Yeah, there does need to be a sarcasm emoji. I agree with you 100%.
That is one of the
Yeah.
things. Like, you're being sarcastic,
Yeah.
Oh, it
All
didn't,
right.
didn't land.
I've
Oops.
actually noticed, Sarah, that you're a great texter.
Well, you know what I've noticed about me is I put too many commas in, and I actually, write a grammatically correct sentence, and then I read what I get back from my son, and I'm like, okay, well, let me just try to decrypt that.
Well,
know.
he also probably texts you more curtly than he texts his friends
Oh, that's probably true.
because he doesn't want to engage. There's so
That
much
is for
tone.
sure.
There's
Yes.
so much tone in texting.
Yeah. So just a couple more of these. I just thought this was interesting because I know you like writers. I have never read A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius, but it is one of those memoirs that people talk about, and it's written by a guy named Dave Eggers. And he says, I use a flip phone and I write my first draft by hand and then transfer it to my 1998 Mac. Writes it out longhand and then types it in. Woody Harrelson apparently does not have he doesn't have anything. He's got
I
one
believe
obscure
that,
email.
Absolutely, yes.
Christopher Nolan says, I refuse to get a smartphone because it's so easy for me to get distracted. And he not only wants to call you from a landline, he would prefer it if you called from a landline.
That's what I'm saying, though, as a guy who might be up at night distracted by
Yeah.
that, he says I should not.
Right. Or he's directing a scene and all of a sudden his phone's blowing up and he's all like, "Oh, I didn't even see that take.
But
Do it
movie
again."
making is this bubble. And so they
That's
get to,
true.
and I'm sure they love it. Like you get into the bubble and this is all that matters. And you're in whatever era and whatever scene you're doing. That's all that matters. It's probably a pretty great feeling to just be entirely focused on Batman.
Right.
Or the
With
Odyssey.
no
Is that the guy, the
distractions.
Odyssey guy?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. Right.
I can
Christopher
imagine.
Nolan?
Yeah. And plus he probably
And
says
Oppenheimer too, right?
there's no phones on these sets.
Oh, I think he is the phone guy, the no phone on the set guy.
So he creates a bubble,
Yeah.
and that would be pretty pure and pretty cool.
And then-
Okay, but he also says you can't wear Uggs on set, which I guess I can never work with Christopher Nolan.
I guess
but
not.
That's an aside.
Yeah. The final one on this list is Christopher Walken. He doesn't have a cell phone or use email, and he doesn't even have like any streaming services. Like basically has no internet at his house. He previously revealed that he watches Severance, which he's on DVDs sent to him by Apple.
I love it.
Yeah.
And he's an older guy. Like, what is he,
Yeah.
80?
Oh, he's pretty old. Yeah.
You know, I mean, my kids, as they've been trying to argue they deserve phones, have said, or this was one of the conversations, Dad, when did you get your first phone? 29.
Yeah.
That's when I got my
Yeah.
first
That's
phone.
not a good comparison
In fact,
for you.
they'd been around a while and I hadn't.
Right. That is true. In fact, I think, didn't you have one and then just get rid of it?
No, that was my laptop.
Oh,
or
yeah.
not my laptop,
Your
my
iMac,
my iMac. Yeah. Our boss started writing me on my email and I went, no, I'm giving this to, I gave it to some school, blanked it out and gave it away.
Here's an email machine.
Couple texts, 510. People lose touch with their humanity on social media and in their cars. We feel separate from ourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
People are their worst selves when they drive.
Agreed.
I know.
Yes.
It makes me sick. That's why I don't drive.
Well,
Uh,
I'm
that's
just
why
kidding.
you don't drive?
No. I just suck at it.
You have a license though?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, that's good.
Benjamin and Martinez, also as listeners, we get to know you, but not the opposite. It's called a parasocial relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I've met people where they say it feels like I know you, but you don't know me. And I say, well, you do.
You actually
Part
do
of what we
know
do
us,
here is
right.
share our lives, and it's part of how we connect.
Yep.
I think that's what is bumming when somebody says something negative sometimes, because it does feel personal, because that's
Yeah.
something.
This is a listener. This
Yeah.
is someone that I'm working on a relationship with.
yes.
Wake up! Thank you. With Sarah and Vinny.
Ding, 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 ding.